After doing OnlyFans management for the better part of 2 years, I have seen quite a few people pass through my doors, whether they've been chatters or models or virtual assistants or even business partners. And I have developed a very good eye for talent. I know who's good, I know who's going to be good, and I know who I'm going to enjoy working with. And in this video, I'm going to pass that knowledge and that information on to you, my loyal viewer, because I feel like it is an area that is not commonly talked about in OnlyFans management. And that's too loud. How about that? All right, lovely. And let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Yala Poppy from simphunter.com. Check out all my lovely links in the description. Subscribe, like the video, blah, blah, blah. Okay. How to develop an eye for talent in OFM. All right. You want to look for a couple things. There's a couple things. Well, there's 5 things you want to look for. Well, I have 5 here written down. Okay. I've listed 5 things that I could think of in the 5 minutes before I fucking decided to make this video. And the first one, I'm going to go, and they're all very important. Well, 4 out of 5 are extremely important. And I'm going to give you the most important one first. And that is you want to look for the ability to follow instructions. Look for the ability to follow instructions. This is and why is this first? Why is this the most important one? And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, if I asked you like, oh, what do you think is the most important thing when deciding to work with somebody for OFM or anything really? You might say, are they smart? Are they good at their jobs? Do they have experience? I don't really care about any of that. What I do care about is that if I tell them to do something, they will do it exactly as I have told them. And for bonus points, and I don't expect this, but this is like a nice bonus. For bonus points, they will use their brain and like think, how can I do this better? But that's, that's a very select few people, let's be honest. I do have a couple, but, don't bank on that because it's not going to happen. The ability to follow instructions. Why is this so important? It should be obvious. It should be obvious. However, when you are in the game and you have a certain level of understanding about what it takes to be successful, what kind of posts they need to make on Instagram or on fucking TikTok, or how to act on the live, or how to make the good PPV content, or whatever it is, you have that knowledge inside. And assuming that you are good at explaining yourself and you are good at conveying that information, then you want the person that you are telling to do stuff, you want them to do it the way that you've told them to do it. In simpler terms, I know now at my current level of knowledge that I can take basically anybody. Well, any woman. I've never done men before. I have no experience there, so I can't say that. However, I can take any woman and I can take her off the street and she can look however she looks, motorized wheelchair, fucking 500 pounds, whatever. That actually that's an interesting niche there. But she can be plain, she can be unattractive, she can be whatever. And I can have her generating subs on day 1. And I can have her earning money, assuming I have a chatter who also does what I tell them to do. That part I'm a little bit newer at, but still I have a system and it works. And she can be making money on day 1. Doesn't matter what she looks like. Doesn't matter what her body's like. Doesn't matter how hot she is. Doesn't matter how young she is. Doesn't matter how skinny she is. None of that matters. Obviously it helps. But if she is able to follow instructions, then we can make it work. And when I choose who to work with, this is the main thing that I look for, right? She can be the hottest girl in the world. She can have the best body in the world. She can have the most Instagram followers in the world. But if she doesn't listen to you, if she doesn't do what you tell her to do when you tell her to do it, how are you supposed to make any money? You're not going to make any money anyway. So this is very important. The most important thing is the ability to follow instructions that you give her. Number 2, I guess we're going to go in order of importance here. We're going to go in order of importance. Number 2, what do you think the second thing would be? Let's just think about that for a second. Don't think about what I'm going to say, but think yourself. Okay, I said the most important thing is the ability to follow instructions. That the ability is there. Some people, they're not able to do it, right? And again, this goes for models, this goes for chatters, this goes for everybody. The second most important thing that I look for when I am assessing talent is desire. I want to know that the person that I am considering working with has a burning and powerful desire to make this work. Now, obviously, part of that comes down to me framing the opportunity in such a way that when they are exposed to my words or fucking job ad or whatever, or the training material or whatever it is, sales letter, when they're exposed to that, they buy into it, right? I haven't talked about it in a while, but I had a sales letter that I would send out to prospective models. And in this sales letter, this was written according to the 12-step copywriting formula. You guys can look it up. It's very scientific. It's like proven to work. And every fucking sales letter that you've ever read that's been written by a professional has been written according to this formula. And so I wrote one. I sat down one day and I was like, oh, well, I mean, okay. So actually the way that it started, I'll be really quick about this, but like the way that it started is that I got really good at getting, at getting a response from models, let's say. Very good at cold DMs early on. And I was getting a lot of responses and I was booking a lot of Zoom calls. And I noticed that in the Zoom calls, I would say the same shit every single time. Oh, you got to do this and we're looking for this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, there's got to be an easier way for me to not have to fucking say the exact same shit. Because I was doing it so much. I was doing like 2 to 3 Zoom calls a day. I was like, this is irritating, right? And so I was like, okay, how can I give them this information so that I don't have to do this? So I can like shorten the whole process. So I sat down and I was like, oh, I'll just write something and send that to them and have them read it beforehand so they know. And so I was like, okay. So I sat down, I started like listing out bullet points, like we need this, you have to do that. It was very dry, it was very boring. It was like a fucking corporate, like, I don't know, like fucking bullet points. And then as I was writing it, I was like, wait, I know how to do copywriting. Why don't I use copywriting to do it? Because that way I can tell them what I need from them and what I expect from them and what I want them to do. And I can also frame it in such a way that it's this massive like opportunity and it's once in a lifetime and you'll make so much money and it's so amazing. And like, if we accept you, you're lucky, limited time only, blah, blah, blah. So I sat down and I wrote it. I iterated a few times as I sent it out. And that was the birth of the sales letter. And that led to that. Now that, like, to be fair, it reduced the amount of Zoom calls that I did because the amount of girls who will like spend 30 minutes reading something is very small. But the ones who did read it, they read it and they were 100% sold. Well, maybe not 100%. Well, I think the ones who read it all the way through were 100% sold. I think some of them might have just like skipped to the end or like said they read it and didn't actually read it. But the ones who actually read it, they were like ravenous for the opportunity. They were all about it. And the reason is because the way that I wrote it stimulated the desire inside them for this to work. Now, there were some girls that came to me who just had the desire naturally. Like maybe I reached out to one and she just really wanted to do it and she was looking for an agency and she like just thought about an agency that day. And then I happened to reach out to her and we had the call and like I was, normal enough that she said yes. But regardless, the desire was there. The desire to make it work was there. The desire to do this OnlyFans thing, right? The desire absolutely must be there. Desire is not something that you can teach, really. I can teach a girl how to make TikToks that will go viral or that at least have a high likelihood or a reasonable likelihood of going viral. I can teach them that. There's a formula for that. I cannot teach a girl to want to do it. I can't teach a girl to like really want to go full time and do OnlyFans, even if she's making money. You can't teach the desire. Sometimes girls are making money and they quit, right? Or they leave. It happens. So the desire absolutely must be there. Now, the third thing is what I would usually say, and that goes for chatters too, by the way. The desire must be there when you present to them the opportunity to work for you. The desire must be there for them to do this. Okay, you can't have somebody, Tom Hopkins, famous sales trainer, he said, this is in Master of the Art of Selling, maybe? I don't remember exactly. I think Master of the Art of Selling, very good book in case you're interested in sales. He said, in order to do sales, you have to be in the mood to do it. You can't like go through the motions of selling and not be like 100% committed to making the act of selling work. And I think it's that applies here as well. So it goes for chatters, I guess is the point. And again, like I said, that kind of depends on how you present to them the opportunity. If you do it in a shitty way, that's like your job ad looks like dog shit, and the underlying message of your job ad is like, do you have fingers and can you read this job ad? Okay, then you can apply and let's talk. If that's how you present yourself, then you're not going to attract to yourself people that have high desire, and you're not going to stimulate that desire by showing how amazing the opportunity is. Anyway, I don't want to get into it, but I have stuff like that in place. Number 3, I look for effort. And this is one that this is like, if you ever hear me talk about hiring people or recruiting or anything like that, this is what you'll hear me talk about. And it's very important. It was hard for me to rank these 3, but you can have somebody. I've had people who put a lot of effort, but they don't have the desire, so that it peters out after a little bit, and they're not able to follow instructions. Like I had this one girl, and I would send her the trends, and I was like, I need you to do these trends, and she would just do whatever she wanted. She would just like fucking post. I looked at it and I was like, this isn't even close to what I asked you for. It's not even like close. Like, did you even look at what I sent you? I didn't send you that for funsies. Like I sent it to you because I've been spending the past 2 years of my life on this. And those are the 4 fucking types of videos I need you to make to go viral so we can make money. But some people think they know better. Who knows? So effort, okay? Effort is very important. If they have the ability to follow instructions and if they have the desire, then we need to see the effort, okay? Because they can have the ability, they can be able to follow instructions, and they can have the desire to make it work. But if they don't put in the effort, if they're lazy, then nothing is going to work. And when I say effort, I'm not talking about like they have to do it, okay? There's a difference between doing it and going above and beyond, because that's not exactly what I'm talking about here. Let me give you an example. It's the best way for me to clarify this, even for myself. So I hired a chatter. He's one of the first. So I have 4 good chatters, 4 reliable chatters who are stable and good. And like, I know that I can forget about them and trust that they're going to go work very hard to make money. I have 4 who are, and I have 1 who's like on their way to that, still not necessarily, doesn't have the confidence. I have 3 that like I might fire soon. And then I have 1 who's like, or I have 2 who haven't started yet, who are still shadowing. One of the first batch of the 4, and I was very lucky to hire 3 of the 4 like in the first batch of training that I did. It was fucking pure luck. But one of them, when he replied to the job ad, okay, so the way my hiring funnel for VAs works like this. They reply to the job ad and I send them the pre-training immediately, which is some videos that I've recorded that are basically like, you could think of them as like chat reviews. Like I go through some chats and I say, okay, this was good, this was bad, here's what you should have done instead, blah, blah, blah. So they understand, they see it in like real time, more or less. And then the other part of it is I make them read my chatter guide on my website, how to be a top 1% OnlyFans chatter, which, to be fair, a little bit dated. It does maybe need a part 2 now, but it's fucking 20,000 words. And that is part of my filtering system, because I know that only people who are really interested in doing this for whatever reason, I don't even care what the reason is. Hopefully it's money, but maybe they are just like, and to be like, I say this kind of, tongue in cheek, but it happens. Maybe they are a little starstruck by me and my presence in the OFM world, let's say. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but 2 years later, I have a lot of YouTube videos. A lot of people know who I am. I have really good articles on my site, and a lot of them, and the history is there, right? So they're like, oh my God, he's been doing it for so long, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the point is that when this person reached out to me, right, after I sent them the pre-training, they sent me a fucking message that was like this long, a Filipino fucking chatter. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry in advance. I'm sending you this really long message, but I just read your article and I read like 10 of your other articles, and like you had me laughing, and I'm so excited to be a chatter, and I really want to work for you, and this is such a great opportunity, and like blah, 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 fucking on and on and on, like massive, like fucking 300 words this thing was. And you may see that as excitement the way that I saw it was effort, because he didn't need to reply. He didn't need to say that, right? All he needed to say in response to the pre-training, what I ask for, this is part of being able to follow instructions, but what I ask for is that they confirm 4 things for me. And honestly, I don't really remember what they are, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I confirm that I will, I confirm that I will send a personalized message to every new fan. I confirm whatever, I don't know, whatever it is. But like, I want them to literally write, I confirm that I will blah, blah, blah. It's all he had to do. Some people, they even just go 1, 2, 3, 4 and like confirm. And that's low effort. I know that person's probably not going to stick around. But this guy, he wrote me a fucking novel. And I'll tell you what, not only that, okay, and why I took that as a good sign is because I thought to myself, okay, look at how much effort this guy puts in to replying to the pre-training. He's not even working for me yet. He's not even doing anything. I'm not paying him. He's just putting that much effort into a response to a potential job offer. It's not ChatGPT, like it was an actual human who wrote that. And that is characteristic of the way that he works now. Now, am I saying he's the best chatter in the world? No, he's not. Does he do the biggest numbers every day? No, he doesn't. In fact, he never does the most. But I know that he's consistent. I know that he's reliable. And what I do now is I will assign new chatters to shadow with him for 1 day as part of their shadowing, because I know that he is going to put a ridiculous amount of effort into teaching them, because he just puts effort into everything, because he's just that type of guy. I'll tell a quick story about another model, because I don't want to, or a model, not a chatter, because I don't want to take too long on this. But I have one model, I think I mentioned her before, and she does like, I don't even know how many fucking times she uploads to Instagram every day. A bunch, at least 50. In fact, if I said 50 and she heard that, she'd probably be like insulted that I was lowballing her. But she does a ton. And not only does she do that, she does great content. Great. And why do I say she does great content? You can tell when a girl is into it or not. You can tell when a girl is kind of just like doing it lazily and she fucking doesn't care and she's like just fucking punching a clock. She does it and she's like into it. She's interested in doing it. She wants to do it. She wants to do a good job. And she puts so much effort into everything. I was working with another chatting agency, these Serbian guys. This was before I had my own chatting team and I was still entertaining the idea of working with an agency. To their credit, these guys were one of the better chatting agencies. They didn't end up continuing. We didn't end up continuing. He sent me a voice note as to why, but like I didn't even listen to it. But one of the things they asked for was a list of like 10 voice notes. They're like, okay, because we onboarded and I was like, okay, let me put you on this girl's account because she's active and she's getting subs and blah, blah, blah. So he was like, okay, I need her to make these 10 voice notes. And it was like, basic stuff to carry the conversation. Like for example, if a sub doesn't want to unlock content, one of the voice notes would be, oh, come on, babe. Like, don't you want to have some fun? Stuff like that at certain points in the conversation. So I sent it to her. And by the way, she does everything immediately if she can. Like I'll send her a custom content request. She sends it to me in 30 minutes, if possible. If not possible, like the next day, the next morning, it's already there. It's done. But anyway, she did these voice notes and then they asked for like a specific script, which she also did. And what they did is they sent me like a template or examples. And they're like, okay, I need, send this to her and just tell her to copy it exactly. Like same time on the fucking videos, same position, same everything. And so I didn't even look at it, right? I just like sent it to her. She sent it to me. I sent it to them. And I was like, how is it? Will that work for you? And they're like, not only will that work for us, but that is the best example that we've ever seen from any model ever. Right? And these guys are a chatting agency. Presumably, they have seen the same type of content from a lot of models. But this girl did the best job, not because she's a genius, not because she's a natural-born actor, but because she put a lot of effort into what she was doing. And she puts effort into everything. She has fucking spreadsheets. She uses Airtable. I don't know how she uses Airtable. I didn't teach her to use Airtable. But she has like spreadsheets that tracks like her Instagram accounts and how many followers she got and like all this shit. I didn't tell her to do it. I didn't ask her to do it. I wasn't like, oh, you need to do this. She doesn't have a background as like a fucking office manager or something. She figured out how to do it on her own because it was important to her because she puts effort into it. Number 4. Number 4 is enthusiasm. I look for enthusiasm. Now, what's the difference between effort and enthusiasm? Not much, to be honest with you. You can put a lot of effort into something. You can put a lot of work into something. But I guess the difference that I make between effort and enthusiasm is really, I don't even define this actually. I don't know, whatever. Let's go to the next one because they're basically the same. Or yeah, they're close enough. Number 4 or 5 is intelligence. Okay. Now, this is the last one. This is the least important one. And I'm not even going to talk about looks. I don't even give a fuck what she looks like. But I will talk about intelligence. And when I say intelligence, I almost said I really mean mastery of the English language. But that's not really what it is. It doesn't really matter. But I do look for intelligence. Intelligence is somewhat important, but I would gladly leave this out. Give me the dumbest people on the planet, but have them be able to follow instructions, have them have lots of desire, enthusiasm, and put effort into what they do. I will work with people that have been lobotomized. I do not care. It does not matter to me. However, it is nice to have somebody who is intelligent. And the reason for this is because when you work with somebody who is intelligent, or rather when somebody works for you who is intelligent, you can give them high-level instruction and they can interpret that high-level instruction without a lot of detail on your end. Now, you should be prepared ahead of time with the detail. For example, let's say that I am training a Twitter VA. And I say to the Twitter VA, okay, so your role is you are going to post comment replies to fucking viral threads, and you're going to do it 50 times a day, and you're going to do it in these niches, and you're going to pull from these 100 pages, and you're going to fucking post this exact content, and the type of captions you are going to use are going to be from this spreadsheet of 500 potential captions that are categorized by like, you know, whatever, this type of pick, this type of pick, this type of pick, this type of pick, categorized by all those, and everything is like literally as close to copy paste as possible. The reason you have to do that, and to a lesser extent, you kind of have to do that with models as well, but you can't really be like, okay, put the dildo inside, and like when you do that, make this look on your face. Like you can't exactly, you know, you have to leave that up to them in that regard. But the reason you have to break it down on such a granular level is because usually the caliber of people that you will settle for working with, let's say, most of the people, you want to make it as idiot proof as possible, basically. Like you want to tell, and to be fair, you need to be trained in the role. Like how are they supposed to know how many fucking times to comment on a post? Like how are they supposed to know what to write in the caption? Like they don't do this all day, every day. Like they fucking answered your job ad. They like want to live their lives and eat their fucking Filipino food. Who cares? But you do need to give them as much direction as possible. Now that when they are trained to an adequate level, let's take chatters, for example. Chatting is a job that you need to think on your feet. There's a little bit of creativity that's required. And intelligent people are more creative. Somebody who has a high level of intelligence will be able to assess the situation and understand how to respond to a sub, when to put pressure, when to pull back, when to ask for something, when even how to, let's say, like float a topic. I'll give you guys a free tip. This will be a free tip for you. Okay. So, this is so juicy. Like if you watch my videos, you're just lucky. Well, I won't give you the exact tip because like, I'll give you a generalized version of the tip, and you can, because I don't want to ruin what I'm doing. Have everybody say the exact same shit. So one of my chatters, very intelligent guy, actually sells the most. He's the top seller, and I also just made him a manager. He has this gambit that he runs with subs where he will kind of imply that they're not doing well financially, which is common, right? Girls are broke. Even girls that have money are broke. But he will imply that she's not doing well financially and that she has chosen to make specific, let's say, changes to her dietary plan as a result. And what this will do is it will get the sub to think, oh my God, this bitch doesn't have enough money for food. And they will be open to like giving her money as a result, right? And you can do this with food, you can do it with bills, you can do it with fucking car payment, you can do it with anything, right? And he thought of that on his own. I mean, maybe like when I had fucking Basil come and teach these guys, like maybe he gave him the idea. I didn't give him the fucking idea. I didn't tell him to do that. I didn't fucking know. Never occurred to me. But it's great. Like I was still coming from the state of mind of like, here is the thing you sell, and sell that and take money and figure out how to do that. But really what you have to do, or this is a little side note here, but like you have to make the guys want to do it. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that's involved in how he does this, where like he doesn't, well, I don't want to give it away, but like it's very thorough the way that he gets the money to be sent, basically. And he was able to figure that out because he has a certain level of intelligence that a dumb chatter wouldn't be able to figure that out, or would take him much longer. A chatter that wasn't putting as much effort as this guy puts in. And he has like, he's made a couple $1,000 sales. He's had a couple $1,000 or $2,000 days. And I didn't teach him how to do that. I wasn't like, here, but this is how you sell for $1,000. I don't know how to do that. I know the general basics of like how to sell and build a connection and how to not be a fucking dumbass, right? It's just like a lot. But I never taught him how to like, do all this other stuff. He figured that out on his own because he was smart about it. Anyway, those are the 5 things that I look for, and what I would consider you to do, or what I would encourage you to consider doing if you are trying to develop an eye for talent in OnlyFans management, regardless of if it is for chatters, virtual assistants, or models. All of these things are important. Cool. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Like the video. Drop me a question if you have a comment. Drop me a comment if you have a question. Check out my links, and I will see you in the next one.